Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's presentation. I am delighted to have you here. My name is Dr. S.K. Singh, and I hold a PhD in this field. Today, we will be exploring the Indian Pharmacopoeia 2026, focusing on the Monographs overview. Over the next few minutes, I will guide you through the key aspects of this important update. We'll look at the new and revised monographs and discuss their significance for quality standards. So, let's get started and delve into the details of the Indian Pharmacopoeia 2026. The Indian Pharmacopoeia, or IP, is essentially the official book that sets the standards for drugs in India. It's legally enforceable under the Drugs and Cosmetics Act, meaning it has a strong legal backing. It details the specific requirements for medicines and pharmaceutical substances, including their identity, purity, strength, and the tests needed to ensure quality. This helps us make sure that the medicines used across the country are safe and effective. Now, looking ahead to the Indian Pharmacopoeia 2026, there are several key reasons for its revision. First, we want to include new drugs, vaccines, biologics, and blood products, since scientific advancements are constantly happening. Second, we need to remove outdated or clinically irrelevant monographs that no longer serve a purpose. Third, aligning with global pharmacopoeias like the USB, EP, and JP is crucial for harmonization. This ensures consistency and facilitates international trade and collaboration. Additionally, the revision aims to strengthen our standards for drug quality, safety, and efficacy, which are fundamental to public health. Supporting national health programs and addressing technological and regulatory advancements are also vital reasons. Overall, these updates will help keep the Indian Pharmacopoeia relevant, comprehensive, and aligned with global practices, ultimately supporting better healthcare outcomes for everyone. Let's take a closer look at the total volumes of the Indian Pharmacopoeia 2026. There are 4 volumes in total, each designed to comprehensively cover all the pharmacopoeial standards for India. This structure helps ensure that all aspects of drug quality and safety are thoroughly documented and accessible. The IP 2026 edition expands significantly, now including 3,340 monographs in total. That's a substantial increase, with 121 new monographs added in this edition alone, reflecting ongoing advancements and updates in the field. Importantly, for the first time, standards for blood components are included, marking a notable expansion to cover more diverse therapeutic materials. Now, let's briefly go over what each volume contains. Volume I serves as the introductory section, featuring general chapters, notices, preface, acknowledgements, and information about the Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission. It also includes reference data and an index, providing the fundamental standards and definitions used across all monographs. Moving on to Volume II, which covers drug substances and dosage forms from A to M. This volume includes general notices, general monographs, and specific monographs on drug substances, dosage forms, and pharmaceutical aids, covering well-known drugs like acetylsalicylic acid and amoxicillin, among others. This structured approach in the IP 2026 ensures that professionals across the pharmaceutical sector have access to standardized, up-to-date information, supporting quality, safety, and consistency in drug manufacturing and regulation. Now, moving on to Volume III, which covers drug substances and special categories from N to Z here, you'll find some important general notices that set the standards for these sections. This volume includes monographs on a wide range of drug substances, dosage forms, and pharmaceutical aids, specifically for names starting from N through Z. You'll also see detailed information on vitamins, minerals, amino acids, and fatty acids, which are essential nutrients. There's coverage of phytopharmaceuticals, herbs, and herbal products, reflecting the growing importance of herbal medicine in our practice. Additionally, the volume addresses vaccines and immunosera used for human health, along with blood and blood-related products. We also cover biotechnological therapeutic products, which are increasingly common today, and allergen products, as well as radiopharmaceutical preparations. This volume essentially consolidates all these critical categories, helping ensure quality and safety standards across diverse medicinal products. Now turning to Volume IV, which focuses on veterinary drugs and provides an overall index. Here, you'll find general notices similar to the previous volume, but specific to veterinary applications. This volume includes veterinary monographs, which set standards for drugs used in animals, ensuring their safety and efficacy. There's also a comprehensive full index covering all previous volumes, I through IV. This index is incredibly helpful for users, as it allows you to quickly locate specific monographs across all categories. Together, these volumes form a complete reference, supporting consistent quality standards not only in human medicine, but also in veterinary practice, aligning with our overarching goal of ensuring safe, effective medicinal products for all uses. Now, let's take a closer look at the new monograph categories coming with the IP 2026 update. These categories are designed to better organize and clarify the scope of different inventions. They help us understand what falls into each specific area, making patent examination more efficient and consistent. The key point here is that these new categories aim to reflect the evolving landscape of technology and innovation. As new fields emerge, it's essential to have clear classifications to support innovation and protect inventions effectively. By updating these categories, we're also ensuring that the patent system remains relevant and responsive to current and future technological developments. This is a crucial step in aligning our classification system with the pace of innovation across industries. Overall, these new monograph categories will serve as a foundational tool, helping both applicants and examiners navigate the patent process more smoothly and accurately. Today, I want to talk about the recent addition of new monographs to our standards. The main purpose behind these updates is to ensure that we maintain high-quality standards for medicines that are critical to our national health programs, such as those for tuberculosis, diabetes, and cancer. Another key point is that we're aligning these standards with global best practices. This involves harmonizing our pharmacopoeial drug guidelines with international references like the EU, USB, and JP, which helps ensure consistency and reliability across borders. Additionally, for the first time, we've included standards for blood components, which is a significant step forward in supporting transfusion medicine. This will help improve safety and efficacy in blood transfusions nationwide. Now, let's look at some examples of these new drug monographs. We've added a variety of important medicines, such as acamprosate gastroresistant tablets, which are used for alcohol dependence therapy. Then bedaquiline fumarate tablets, an antitubercular agent that's vital in our fight against TB. We've also included azilsartan and chlorothalidone tablets, which are a combination used to manage hypertension effectively. For allergy sufferers, there's bipotastine bisylate ophthalmic solution, an eye drop to help with allergic conjunctivitis. And finally, calcium orotate, a nutritional supplement that supports overall health. These additions reflect our ongoing commitment to improving the quality, safety, and global compatibility of medicines available to our population. Now, let's take a closer look at the monograph development process. First, draft proposed monographs are made available on the IPC website, allowing for transparency and initial feedback. Next, we gather comments from stakeholders and have an expert working group review these drafts to ensure they meet scientific and clinical standards. Based on this feedback, revisions are made to improve the content and accuracy. Once the revisions are finalized, the monographs go through an approval process and are officially published in the IP. It's also important to note that the criteria for developing these monographs prioritize drugs that are used in national health programs, listed on the National List of Essential Medicines, or are considered clinically significant therapies. This approach helps ensure the monographs are focused on the most impactful medicines for public health. Now, moving on to a significant milestone in our regulatory updates. We have achieved a first-time inclusion of 20 monographs specifically for blood and blood components used in transfusion. This aligns with the Drugs and Cosmetics, Second Amendment, rules of 2020, which aim to bring greater clarity and standardization to this vital area. These monographs cover essential blood products like packed red blood cells, commonly known as PRBC, as well as fresh frozen plasma and platelet concentrate derivatives. What this means is that we now have comprehensive, standardized guidelines for these blood components, ensuring better quality control and safety for patients. This development is a crucial step forward in strengthening our blood transfusion practices and ensuring that all blood products meet consistent standards. Overall, this update underscores our commitment to enhancing the safety and efficacy of blood transfusions, which is a key part of our broader goal to improve healthcare quality across the board. Now, let's look at vaccines and biotechnology products. We've added 3 human vaccines to our portfolio, which helps us strengthen the standards for immunization testing. This ensures that the vaccines we develop are safe and effective for the public. In addition, we're seeing growth in biotechnology-derived therapeutic products, specifically 2 new ones. These reflect the expanding role of biotech medicines in treating various health conditions. For example, one of our vaccines targets a viral disease, which we'll refer to as Disease X, with specific names detailed in the IP text. This highlights our focus on developing targeted immunizations. We also have a recombinant protein therapeutic, called Therapeutic Y, which exemplifies how biotech advances are enabling us to create more precise and effective treatments. Overall, these developments underscore our commitment to innovation in both vaccines and biotech medicines, aligning with our broader goal of improving health outcomes through advanced scientific solutions. Let's take a look at some of the changes and deletions in the monograph classification. You'll notice that several monographs were shifted to different categories to improve logical grouping and test alignment. For example, ascorbic acid was moved to the drug substances category, which makes sense given its chemical and pharmaceutical nature. Similarly, calcium carbonate, calcium gluconate, and biotin were reclassified to better reflect their clinical use and scientific classification. These adjustments help ensure that the classification system remains clear and consistent. Now, regarding the deletions and omissions in the upcoming IP 2026, a few monographs were removed altogether. Notably, the multicomponent Clostridium vaccine, Clostridium navi type B vaccine for veterinary use, and platelet concentrate as a standalone product. These changes are driven by updated clinical relevance or shifts in regulatory focus. Essentially, it means that these products are no longer considered necessary for inclusion, reflecting the evolving landscape of medical and regulatory priorities. These updates aim to keep the classification current and aligned with the latest scientific and regulatory developments. On this slide, we're looking at some important changes in monographs. You'll notice that certain monographs have had their titles or synonyms updated to improve clarity. For example, what was once called acyclovir intravenous infusion is now titled acyclovir for intravenous infusion, making it clearer that it's specifically for intravenous use. Similarly, amoxicillin injection has been renamed to amoxicillin for injection, which better describes its intended form. Another example is the chapter on the weight of single-dose preparations, now updated to the more straightforward term, weight variation, under the general chapter, to better reflect its focus. These changes are not just for clarity. They're also part of a broader effort to ensure consistency across our documentation. Regulatory notifications are encouraging manufacturers to update labels and all related documents to align with these new titles and terms. Moving on, we also see a focus on harmonization with international standards. There are now 18 general chapters and 22 excipient monographs that have been harmonized with the Pharmacopoeia discussion group, which includes USB, EP, and JP. This harmonization is crucial because it promotes global alignment, making it easier for products to be exported and ensuring consistent quality standards worldwide. Overall, these updates and harmonization efforts reinforce our commitment to clarity, precision, and international consistency in our pharmacopoeial standards. Now, let's look at some examples of widely used intellectual property monographs that are included in the IP 2026 edition. These are key standards that many in the industry rely on regularly. First, we have paracetamol tablets, which serve as the analgesic standard. This means it's a benchmark for pain relief medications containing paracetamol. Next is metformin hydrochloride tablets, recognized as the anti-diabetic standard. This is a crucial reference point for medications used in managing diabetes. Then we see the combination of rifampicin, isoniazid, pyrazinamide, and ethambutol, which together form the anti-TB standard. These are essential in the treatment of tuberculosis. It's important to note that the exact text of all these current standards can be found in the official IP volumes, ensuring consistency and clarity across the industry. Overall, these examples highlight how the IP standards serve as foundational references that support quality and reliability in pharmaceuticals, which ties back to our goal of maintaining high standards in our industry. In conclusion, IP 2026 represents a significant advancement in our monograph coverage, expanding to a total of 3,340 references, with 121 new additions. This expansion means we now have a much broader and more comprehensive database to support pharmaceutical quality. One of the key improvements is the inclusion of new blood components, which reflects the latest scientific and regulatory developments. Additionally, the harmonization of standards across different regions is a major step forward, making it easier for industry to comply globally. You'll also notice that there are updates to titles and classifications, which aim to improve clarity and ensure better regulatory compliance. These changes help us communicate more effectively and align our practices with international expectations. Overall, IP 2026 strengthens India's pharmaceutical quality framework by aligning it more closely with global standards. This alignment is crucial because it not only enhances regulatory confidence, but ultimately supports better patient safety worldwide. So, in essence, this update is about making our standards more robust, transparent, and globally harmonized, benefiting everyone involved in the pharmaceutical ecosystem. If you need any further support or have questions after this presentation, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm here to help and ensure you have all the resources you need. Thank you so much for your time and attention today.